I'm Jay Kingley, co-founder and CEO of Maven Advisors, your host of Fractionals Unplugged. I'm joined today by Mitchel Harad of Broderick Street Partners. Mitchel is a fractional chief marketing officer. He works with early-stage, consumer-facing Fintech and Insurtech companies in the $5 to $50 million range. He's based in the beautiful San Francisco, California area. Welcome, Mitchel.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Are you feeling undervalued and stuck in the frustrating cycle of an inconsistent pipeline and income, despite consistently delivering exceptional results for your clients? Maven's proven 97% done-for-you client acquisition system transforms your expertise into a steady income of $300,000 to $500,000 a year, providing lasting financial security and establishing you as the go-to resource for your clients' toughest challenges. Join Jay Kingley, CEO of Maven, and his guests as they share actionable insights on today's episode of the Fractionals Unplugged podcast.
Mitchel, you're at a conference focused on fintech and insurtech startups, and you meet a CEO at one of these companies. You walk up, you shake hands, and you give them some quick context on you. What would you say to them?
I focus on helping companies drive growth at scale. They tend to be in the earlier part of their life. Oftentimes, they've had a great first few years driving growth, usually founder-led or sort of finding one thing that works really well. The challenge is, how do you make it go bigger and faster? And I give them the resources and the skills that I've developed over 30 some years in those industries to help them make it happen at a cost that fits a lot better with their budget than a full-time executive.
What are the biggest challenges that you see that these early stage fintech and insurtech companies have when it comes to driving their growth rate?
I think it probably comes down to what got them from a start to where they are today. It doesn't work as well to get them where they want to go next. As I said at the start, oftentimes it's sheer effort of a founder putting the company on their back or finding one magical channel or partnership, meta ads or search or a partner that can really drive that first 5 to 10 million in growth. But as you look to get to where's the next 2x, 5x, 10x come from, the recipe, the formula is going to be different. And so they oftentimes start getting into a place of frustration where what has worked so well, it probably still has some room to run, but it's getting clear that where we need growth to accelerate, where we need margin to start getting wider, it's not coming together. And often that gets compounded by investing time and energy in how do we make this thing that we have work better, where really it's time to take a step back and understand we're now a 10, 20, $50 million company. What's the formula to get us to where we're trying to go next? And oftentimes it doesn't look the same.
Now, at some point when they launched, as you said, they're full of vim and vigor, optimism and confidence. Now, if I asked a CEO of one of these companies, what changed from that point? What do you think they would tell me?
I think it's really hard with anything when entrepreneurship's a grind. Running a business is a grind. And when you're in the thick of it day in and day out, you certainly know a heck of a lot more over time than you did when you started, but it can be tough to take that step outside. You can have a team that has been fantastic and with you working when you were squeezed into the back room and people that you really trust and value, but those people may not have the right ideas or they may not be in the right place for the org for where they need to go next. They've done a great job figuring it out to here, but they don't necessarily have that external view of here's where we're trying to go next and here's what we need to do differently. It's also really hard to take a step back and say, hey, this stuff or this strategy or these channels or these people have worked so well to get us from nothing to here. But like I said, it's not going to be that same formula in most cases. From 0 to 10 is not necessarily going to be the same as 10 to 100. And that's where you see so many businesses start to struggle. It is never, ever easy, but that initial success can come fast or relatively quickly. And as it starts to slow down, as it starts to get harder, there can be some banging in the head against the wall. Like, why isn't this working as well as it was before? And so oftentimes it takes that external view and then external experience of here's what the recipe for success at the next level looks like. And oftentimes it includes all of the same people, channel, strategy, but perhaps in a different configuration and with a better understanding of here's what matters now.
So I have this very strong point of view that marketing and sales is about perception and delivery is about truth. So I heard a lot of truth in what you were saying, but I want to get you focused on the perception. So one day, unlike every other day, The leadership, CEO, founder, other members of the leadership team says, this isn't working well. Now, maybe they should have seen it coming. Maybe they should have realized this earlier, but they're not talking to you. They're not talking to anyone external. This is their perception. So what causes them to say this forming the way I want it to? Why do they think they've gone from we're crushing it to we're struggling? And I want you to get inside their heads as to what they think. We will get to what you think, but I want this to be what's in their mind, because if they don't see they have a problem, they're never going to talk to someone like you.
I don't think there's usually a magic moment. I think it tends to be a long stretch. It could be months, it could be years in some cases, of banging your head against the wall. And I think one of the big commonalities is you had success. You built a pretty exciting startup, a pretty exciting early stage business. And when things are go, 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 it is a very natural assumption that it's only going to keep going this way and maybe even get better from here. And it takes some time and some distance and some frustration to realize that it's not. Oftentimes what you'll see is, hey, our meta ads have been amazing. They've gotten us this far. And all we need to do is keep coming up with new ones or keep optimizing. And you get to the point where that doesn't work. What you see as well is, I'd say, throwing lines in the water. We're going to hire this agency. We're going to change out this person. We're going to throw a bunch of money, often at frankly a ill-planned test. It works really well over here. And so let's do this similar opportunity. I think you need those failures in a lot of cases, because you need to see that it's not just one cause. We need a different approach from where we are, and a interesting combination of confidence that we can figure this out and doubt that maybe we're not on the right path. And it takes time for that to come together.
So the things that you talked about that they do, are those the things that they do when they think things are going well? It's like, things are going well. Now it's time to bring in the agency. Now it's time to activate a new channel. Or are these a response to them saying what was working is not working? We obviously have some point of view as to why, even if it's incorrect, they have a point of view. And then these are the go-to moves they make after they have, if you will, self-diagnosed. So is this normal course of event actions, or is this we have self-diagnosed what our problem is, so the things you mentioned are our responses to the right solution?
I think it's a playbook that gets used a lot. It's just this one little twist away. If we can just find some new ad campaigns, or this agency gave us a great pitch and we believe in them, or my buddy told me they're really good, or I met this person and I feel that if we just make that one change. And really what I think often is the case is, it's not one thing at one point, and it's not even that your business is bad or underperforming. It's that you're not tooled for the next level. You had an amazing business to get to where you are, probably have pretty good product market fit. You've got a lot of great team members, maybe the right team members. It's either a combination of strategy, people, approach, where what got you to here, it's not going to be the same thing to get you to the next level. And what I see so often at so many companies is this compounding of, we're going to double, triple down and trying to make this work. We're so close, we can just get it back to where it was. We'll get off that plateau and start zooming again. And there's usually more room to run for sure with what you're doing, but you're not taking the right approach, the right road to get to where you want to go next.
So many times in my experience, the reason that those go-to moves that you talked about don't work is because they're trying to solve the symptom rather than fix the cause. So I would put it that these companies are really misdiagnosing what's causing the system. It's a little bit like you're playing whack-a-mole. You hit the symptom that appears over here. You feel good that you whacked it, but then it pops up over here, and you whack it over there and it comes up over here. So you're chasing and you're doing all this activity, but you never get there. So what is your true diagnosis that explains the reason why these fintech and insurtech companies are struggling to grow, that they would find insightful? In other words, they would say, my God, Mitchel, I never looked at it that way.
That's absolutely right. And I think what often is the case, especially with earlier stage companies, is marketing and channel get confused. And really what we think about is marketing equals ads. And oftentimes to have that success, you have something that works. You have some product market fit. you have found a channel that's driving results, but where it stops working, it's a car running on 3 low tires. What gets you to that next level is that discipline and that investment in the whole machine. For sure, channel is part of it. And those ads are part of it, and partnerships and campaigns. Oftentimes, where a company is spending, it's the biggest or second biggest expense item, along with payroll, is going to be customer acquisition costs. And so that's where all the attention goes. How can we make these ad campaigns work better or work as well as they used to be, or double or triple them up? And what gets thrown by the wayside is kind of where all the investment was probably early on. Are we doing a really good job of making it clear to our customers, here's the features and benefits of our product. Here's why it solves this pain point for you. Especially consumer finance and consumer P&C insurance. These are intangible, complex, intimidating products. Most people buy them once or twice in their life in a lot of cases. How do you make it really clear and understandable to that prospect, to that customer? Here's what our product does. Here's how it works. Here's what it's going to do for you, what it costs, and why it's better, and do it in really clear and understandable language. When you look at that with outside eyes, what is the messaging and the brand and positioning? It's not achieving the goal. And that's part of what the friction is. You can look at what is our conversion, what is our funnel, what is our onboarding. Usually a lot of work went into setting it up, and then it sits there. And I've been with companies where objectively it's a high conversion rate, but there has not been any work to improve it or personalize it or customize it or test your way through. And the opportunity to dramatically increase the number of people coming through that funnel successfully is usually there for the taking, with a lot of hard work and discipline. And those things are not quick wins. They take time. You're going to fail at some point. If every test is winning, you're not trying radical enough things. Those are the things that provide leverage to the entire business. If you can increase your conversion rate by a double-digit percentage rate, that carries through in every single thing that you can do. You can also look at things like, we have these customers, these hard-won customers. Are we taking the opportunity to provide value to them and sell them additional products, or sell them the same product additional times? A lot of times, especially with newer companies, it's kind of a one and done attitude. We're going to get the customer in, we're going to get them through our funnel and out the other side in a few minutes, get paid and log that profit margin. Oftentimes you have that relationship, you have that customer, that second, third, 10th sale usually is slim to no customer acquisition costs. That's your most profitable business. And those relationships are often ignored. And so it's putting all that together and really thinking about, what is the marketing machine, where channel is just a piece of it? Is it all working together as strongly as it can?
Last question before the break. Everybody and their brother is an AI expert today. So let me ask you, what role should AI be playing, if any at all, in accelerating the growth path of these companies?
I'm a massive fan of AI and what we're able to do across any part of the business at this point, even versus 18 months ago, is just extraordinary. And it's hard to conceive of where it'll even be a year or two from now. And so I view AI as level up. It gives you the ability to be more effective, to push more into production, to do things that you couldn't do before. I think the two big pieces to that are looking across the business and understanding where AI can help you pretty much at every turn. Is it in coding and development? Is it in messaging? Is it in creative and design? Is it in analytics? The answer is all of those things, but figuring out where in each part of my business can AI be most useful. The bigger thing, of course, is AI only works when people are using it and they're using it well. I believe that AI is an enabler. The key thing is you need to help everyone understand and meet them where they're at. Here's how you can use this to be even more effective at your job, get more done, oftentimes with less effort, and teach people that. For some people who's just using ChatGPT as a search engine, they're not, and they probably shouldn't be deploying code. For others, it could be, we're going to write our own software and use it internally, or in some cases when it's ready externally, and get things shipped out the door much faster and without bogging our development team, who's probably pretty heavy in AI as well. What has been very successful to me is you need to meet people where they're at and empower them. You need to have AI usage as part of KPIs, as part of performance reviews, but ultimately you need to provide the support and the safety to get there. I've held AI on sites where we bring everyone together. We nominate and choose a bunch of projects. Sometimes it's to learn, sometimes it's to put stuff into production. And you sit there and you build with others and you have those light bulb moments of, here's what can be done and here's what I can actually do. And it's so new and moving so quickly. I think it's really helpful to see here's how others are using it. I've yet to be in a conversation where people working on AI together, where everyone doesn't learn something new at that approach. Having both that top down, we're going to do this and it's important to the org, and that bottoms up, like, let's get you skilled up and comfortable and even excited about using these tools and hands-on doing it. It comes to blend together in a really effective way. I don't believe in a future of your marketing team's going to be replaced by a dozen AI agents, but your marketing team can use a dozen AI agents to be a heck of a lot more effective. And they can do that in weeks and months. And that's what's really extraordinary about it.
So I'm curious, you looking at these fintech and insurtech early stage companies from a growth marketing perspective, where would you say using AI in these areas is a big mistake?
I am still wary of non-developers pushing code into production. In many cases, I think they can learn to get there. I'm not a developer, but I've just pushed my first hobby app to the App Store and Google Play, and it's amazing to me. And it scares me to death on things like, is this secure? Am I creating risk? And so I'm certainly a long way from wanting to do that just yet in an actual business and not just a hobby app. I think that's quite important. I think the other really big thing with financial services is ultimately you are operating in a framework of managing risk and ensuring that you're compliant. And AI can be, again, very powerful tools to do that. I've just worked with a company to help build an internal compliance tool where we review every piece of content, website, emails, other communications against our compliance framework. It does a very good job of flagging this is likely compliant or this is definitely not. But ultimately, there's still a human in there that needs that final say. It helps us sort through and prioritize things. It helps us put a hard stop to things that are clearly not compliant, but I think makes everyone more effective at their job. It is not a replacement for it.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hear Mitchel's story.
Is your pipeline inconsistent and rarely full? Do you struggle to stand out and communicate your unique value? The lead generation you've done or had others do for you has largely been a waste of time and money. You're stressed out and feeling guilty, worried that you're not living up to your own expectations or supporting those who matter most to you. Maven offers the only 97% done-for-you client acquisition service, trusted by top fractional executives and consultants. Our proven system takes care of your go-to-market strategy, lead generation, and sales, turning your expertise into a full pipeline and a high-converting sales process. With Maven, you'll achieve a predictable income, financial security, and the confidence you'll never have to take a job working for someone else. Contact j.kingley at fractionalmaven.com to discover how Maven can help you build a thriving business working with clients who value your insights and are a joy to work with.
Welcome back. We're talking to Mitchel Harad, a fractional chief marketing officer of Broderick Street Partners. He works with early-stage consumer-facing fintech and insurtech companies. Let's find out, Mitchel, a bit more about you. And let me start with asking, what happened in your life, could be personal or professional, that most explains why you're doing what you do today?
I've been an entrepreneur for long periods of my life, and the very tough road that they choose to take, and always excited to be of service and help and support to figure things out. My aha moments have been, in a few cases, extraordinary success in driving growth at scale. I think my biggest claim to fame is I started working at a scrappy $5 million startup that was called Lending Club about 15 years ago. We made consumer loans online, which was very new and novel at that time. We wound up during my years there being probably one of the fastest growing companies on the planet. We tripled that business or more every single year for 4 years, and leading consumer marketing there brought in 1 million plus customers. We went from 50 or so employees to well over 1,000. Being part of that journey was certainly very eye-opening. I think the biggest thing that I took away from that was when you grow at that speed and try and keep it going in a sustained business, it's a new business every 6 or 12 months. And most companies are not moving quite that fast. That realization of what works so well now or a year ago, it was not going to be meaningful a year or two from now if we kept things going. And so really eye-opening on scale. How do we focus on what are the big opportunities? What are the things that are worth doing and the size of the prize? How do we keep ourselves and the org and the teams really focused on these are the things that matter and make it a really small list? And the price of doing that is, relentless prioritization and saying no to a heck of a lot of stuff. Something that couldn't keep pace with our growth or wasn't driving enough of it now, it took the same time as those top 2 or 3 things that were helping us become so big. That was a really eye-opening experience to me of here's what it takes to deliver growth at scale, and kind of that realization, both from my own entrepreneurial experiences and helping others. It's a very different and very challenging game for that phase 2 of a business, where through a lot of hard work and smarts, you can have a really successful startup, but the world thins out pretty fast from there, because making that leap from kind of startup to grown up is a very different approach and set of skills. And I'm excited that I've developed that over my career, and I really like sharing it with others.
So I want you to think about the people who would say, I know Mitchell pretty well. Now, if I went up to those people and I said to you, what's one thing that these people who think they know you well would surprise them if you disclosed it?
I care. I think driving that growth and talking about relentless focus, being extremely data driven, the numbers tell a heck of a lot of the story. You need to really be level headed when you're prioritizing and not make decisions on emotion. I've killed off a heck of a lot of projects and initiatives that people care a lot about, and they maybe put some numbers on the board, but ultimately it comes back to this smaller opportunity is the same resource draw as this much larger one, and we need to focus on the larger one to win. With all that, I think you use data to make those decisions, but you still need to understand the people part of it. I'll flip that around too on really the customer side. I've been in consumer finance for a long time. I am really extraordinarily passionate about the consumer part of that. Ultimately, all these products are tools to help people accomplish a goal. I need to be able to pay for this thing that I want to do, or protect this thing that I have, or have money to do this thing in the future. That is every product in finance. Nobody is buying a financial or an insurance product because they want that product. They're doing it because they're trying to accomplish something else. And so making sure that those customers really understand, here's what you're getting, here's how it works, here's why this might not be for you, and here's where this may or may not be right for you. Care a lot about that.
What's next for you over the coming 12 months?
I'm working with a good set of companies right now where we're driving some pretty exciting growth, have some capacity to take on another. Always interested in talking to great entrepreneurs who are looking to take their company to the next level. I have gotten very passionate and intrigued by AI. As I said, I've just pushed my first app coming out. It's called Cella, Cella. On the App Store and Google Play. It's actually about wine, which is certainly a passion of mine as well. I'm excited for that, but really, I'm frankly just amazed, and I'd almost say impressed with myself that despite not coding in decades, I've been able to build this app that's got features and functionality that I think's pretty useful and impressive, and build the entire thing and design the entire thing, which is certainly not my skill set, through AI. I'm really proud of what I accomplished there. We'll see where it goes as a hobby app, but I've caught the AI bug and excited to see what else I can learn to do with those tools and see where the tools go in the period ahead.
What's the best way for our audience to contact you?
LinkedIn's probably the easiest way to find me. You can look for me there by name, Mitchel Harad.
I will put that in the show notes, make it easy for people to reach out. Mitchell, I want to thank you for being a guest on our Fractionals Unplugged show. Be sure to subscribe to both our podcast on all the major platforms and our YouTube channel for our videos. Create your market narrative to tell the compelling story of your ideal clients. Position yourself as an executive rather than a vendor. Generate more qualified leads, relevant referrals, stronger pricing, and work that you love to do and are passionate about. You know what your work is worth. Isn't it time the market did too? Until next time.